Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
It is the 26th day of April 2009 on this Sunday. It is 6 minutes past the hour Central Standard Time, 4:06 Central Standard Time. Will be live here for the next 2 hours. We're going to open the phones up. But at the beginning of the radio show, I only want to have people from Mexico City or other states in Mexico. I did a special 2-hour show last night only for Infowars.com internet stream listeners and PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. And we got, 5 calls from Mexico, a call from the suburb of San Antonio, a guy right next door to the school, where they're closing the school tomorrow because they have 2 cases of the bird, swine, human flu. They're calling it swine flu. It's bird, swine, human flu. We got calls from Canada where they've had outbreaks. I've gotten emails from Spain, Israel, where they've had outbreaks. There's just outbreaks all over the world of this. And so I'm going to give out the toll-free number. Now, I know some people from Mexico can't call a toll-free number, so you'll need to call a toll number. But we'll get to you very, very quickly. It's 877-590-5525, 877-590-5525, or you can call 512-836-0590, 512-836-0590. But I would ask everybody else to hold, to not call in yet, like I did last night, unless you have family in Mexico. We got some of those calls with eyewitness reports. I did confirm that Aztec TV, that's the big national channel, had Felipe Calderon on it saying, don't worry, we've got a vaccine for this flu. That's impossible unless the government released it. I mean, you can't just days after they identify what it is, then already have a vaccine for it. And you've got Baxter tied in with mixing bird flu with regular vaccines, according to the London Telegraph that we broke just a month or so ago here in the U.S. Then it was covered by Bloomberg, AP, and others. With the headlines admitting that it could have caused a worldwide pandemic, that 18 different factories in Europe, U.S.-based Baxter, ordered them to mix live bird flu in with the regular vaccines, the perfect way to create a mutagen or to mutate it. Exactly what supposedly has naturally happened, bird flu from Asia, human flu from Europe, particularly deadly strain, and swine flu or porcine, pig flu from North America have magically mixed somewhere in Mexico and has now jumped species back into humans and appears to be airborne because it's got rapid person-to-person transmission with people who haven't been around pigs, haven't been around birds, haven't been kissing anybody that had it, haven't been holding hands with anybody that had it. So I want to state this on the record. I believe the mainstream media and the governments of Mexico, the United States, the global government, the United Nations, are hyping this to grandstand as saviors. And Mexico, on the verge of revolution and collapse in their own admissions, will use this crisis to unify support of the people under the ongoing corruption and police state, as the government composes a savior. Now, before I was thinking this last night on the air when I did that 2.5-hour plus emergency transmission, internet only. Just the power of the internet was amazing. We had about 9,000 on the free streams and a few thousand watching PrisonPlanet.tv that are members there, and that tuned in with no announcement. And we had calls again from, I think, 5 calls from Mexico, several from Mexico City. Just amazing. Well, now we're on AM and FM stations, places like Southern California, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Miami, Tennessee, not just WBCR in Knoxville, but got another one in, I got to get a proper list of all these. The point is there's a lot of affiliates. So there's over 30 picking up the Sunday show now, over 70 the weekday show. So we have people everywhere who have these contacts. So I want to hear from you at 877-590-5525, 877-590-5525, or if you're in Mexico and that toll-free number won't work, I know it works for some people in Mexico, but with some plans it doesn't, 512-836-0590. Again, that's 512-836-0590. Okay. Let me break down the issues here. Just like right before 9/11, I saw preparatory brainwashing on television, the radio, and in print, saying Al-Qaeda is going to attack us. I mean, the average American didn't even know what Al-Qaeda was then. Maybe 1 in 100 did. They introduced the enemy. They said they're about to get you. When they do, we're going to take all your rights. And I saw the feds and the Army putting out white papers about how they'd already set up Homeland Security. This is before 9/11. It wasn't set up in 2002, folks. We have those documents. In fact, we have some of them tonight we're going to go over. And I saw them getting ready to stage an attack. That's how I went on air and said, okay, they're going to stage an attack, saying Al-Qaeda, known CIA front, did it. They'll probably attack the World Trade Center again, since the feds had done that in 93 on record. Even the New York Times admitted the FBI cooked the bomb, trained the drivers. They didn't want to go forward with it. They told them, go ahead, it's just a drill. And they tried to blow up the building, but the drivers didn't park it up against the main column. So I said, hey, I think they're going to try to blow up the World Trade Centers. And I said, call the White House, tell them don't do it. Well, in the last 2 months, I never talk about bird flu. I say it's hype, it's baloney, it's fear-mongering. If it ever is released and really causes a lot of death, it's been engineered. A lot of major reports have looked at some of the bird flu strains and said they are engineered. They're designer viruses. And then suddenly it comes out a few months ago that Bayer Pharmaceutical knowingly shipped out Factor VIII with HIV and hepatitis in it to over 1 million people worldwide. They did it with a company, Baxter, based in the U.S. Then Baxter's caught lying to its subsidiary factories from Poland to Germany to the Czech Republic. This is mainstream news, Toronto Star, Reuters, you name it, just Google it. We got stories up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com that detail this, and I'm going to go through the latest info with what's happening now. And they mix the most powerful version of human bird flu, i.e. bird flu that can kill humans, 90% kill rate on those that have gotten it all over the world. But it hadn't gone airborne yet. Very hard to contract. But if you get it, 9 times out of 10, you're dead. And suddenly, they mail it out from the U.S. to 18 factories and tell them, and list it as regular human flu strain of the year, and they say mix it with this wide spectrum of flu viruses for Europeans to have it injected into them. And over there, they've had the laws open where these are actually cultured on dead babies. They'll call it fetal tissue, but it's cultured in dead babies just to add a macabre twist and the, I guess, royal flush to the nightmare nature of it. That's going on there. So they're breeding up in these big vats with the sawed-up, minced baby. They've got all this, that's how dignified we think human life is, these eugenicists that run things. You know, you may not care about those babies. Well, the globalists don't care about you either. And so they mix the live bird flu with it. And then some of the firms, subsidiaries, like to test it on ferrets and guinea pigs, because if they test the flu virus vaccine on it and it gets sick, that means they didn't radiate the batches correctly. So that it just gives you immunity and doesn't actually make you sick. Well, not only did the ferrets get sick, all of them died. And they went, whoa. So that one firm in the Czech Republic tested it. Top scientists went in the newspaper and said, this is a setup. Baxter had to have been trying to mix this to cover up a release. And then it turns out Baxter is developing separately a bird flu vaccine. They now have a swine flu vaccine. They're in the news on that today in the Chicago Tribune. And the issue is, this is very serious. Even if it is an accident, accidentally 18 locations, 18 different factories, you mail out bird flu to be mixed with regular flu, and the scientist on record all over the newspaper said this is the perfect way to have it mutate in the vats, in the fetal tissue. Sometimes they use eggs too, or monkey tissue. And then if you inject it in a human, it'll mutate again and go airborne. Now, I'll give you the latest on this bird, swine, human flu that's out when we get back. Stay with us.